We do need to delete entire agencies as opposed to leave part of them behind. Because if you leave part of them behind, it's easy. It's kind of like if leaving a weed. If you don't remove the roots of the weed.
So we're at 400 Massachusetts Avenue Northwest, and this is what we see in a government advertising box. We don't know if the government allowed this or an individual, but targeting individuals, hopefully only using USAID's logo. It better not be funded by them or endorsed by them. The president is asking serious questions about where taxpayer dollars are going and whether or not it's the best and highest use. I, for one, think that Elon Musk and President Trump are doing right by the American taxpayers asking those questions. This is what's wrong with the process.
Yes, it is official. Elon Musk has completely broken the Democrat Party with just 3 weeks of DOGE actions. What I've observed within the space of 3 weeks extremely concerning. If you want to count the work this people have put in, yes, Elon Musk appeared at World Government Summit in Dubai. He said some things that are extremely concerning. And before we even go into that video, there are still these crybabies in the Democrat Party. They can't sleep. What I see on social media, sometimes I will laugh through. Even to do a video about it, I can.
Now, I'm going to be quick because I want to send a message to somebody. Elon, take your musty millions and musty Moscow rights to the moon. Because if you don't, we're going to stand up, we're going to speak out, we're going to march, we're going to do anything we need to do to make sure that the people of this country understand that the CFPB is for them. You get your musty hands off of our money or go to Moscow, you musty moon.
It is official. The Democrat Party is broken. It is in pieces. They don't even know what to do at this point. Imagine bringing in tech in the government. This is something they have never seen in their life. Reason they are still here crying like babies.
We do need to delete entire agencies as opposed to leave part of them behind. Because if you leave part of them behind, it's easy. It's kind of like if leaving a weed. If you don't remove the roots of the weed, then it's easy for the weed to grow back. But if you remove the roots of the weed, it doesn't stop weeds from ever growing back, but it makes it harder. So we have to really delete entire agencies, many of them. We really have here rule of the bureaucracy as opposed to rule of the people, democracy. So in order, we want to restore rule of the people. And so what that means is reducing the size of the federal government, basically reducing regulation. There's a tremendous amount of over-regulation that's happened over time. And this is an inevitable consequence of a long period of prosperity, is that you're going to get more and more rules and regulations, more laws accumulate over time. And the normal forcing function for getting rid of rules and regulations is war. So it needs to be some kind of existential war, where you have to do a reset in order to avoid being defeated in a war. This is literally throughout history, it's been the main forcing function for clearing out an accumulation of laws and regulations. Of the difficulty of U.S. government workers retiring, like the maximum retirement rate is 10,000 a month, and the reason for that is because the retirement is entirely paperwork right now. It's manually calculated paperwork that's put in an envelope and then taken down a mine shaft and stored in a mine. And then one of the things that affects the rate at which federal workers can retire is the speed of the elevator in a mine in Pennsylvania, which is bizarre because it should be digital, So then when we said, well, why isn't it digital? They said, well, we have had a digitization program going since 2014. So that's been 11 years. So then we asked, well, so how much progress have you made? And they said, B. You mean you're giving yourself a grade of B? No, we're on the letter B. So we're like, okay, we're going to need to really provide some tech support here. Like otherwise, literally, people can't even retire, like even if they want to. It's pretty bad. The aspiration here is a reduction in regulation and reduction in government spending such that the economy is able to grow faster. Maybe the economy can grow at 4 or 5% potentially in terms of real useful goods and services output. And then government spending can be reduced by about 3 or 4% of the economy, about maybe $1 trillion or more. And the net effect of that would be no inflation from 2025 to 2026. So that would be quite remarkable. And also, if the U.S. government is buying less debt, which I think will be the case, if the deficit drops from 2 trillion to 1 trillion, then there'll be 1 trillion less debt that the government needs to buy, which will drop, of course, interest rates to drop significantly. And that means people's mortgage payments, car payments, credit card payments, student loans, whatever debt they have, their debt payments will be less. So I think this is something that will benefit the average American.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk is effective messaging?
Yes, I understand people have differences with Elon Musk, but please hold that aside. I believe you saw that video at the beginning. Representative Nancy Mace has announced she is filing to censor Representative Robert after he called for actual weapons to be used against Elon Musk. Democrats are freaking. The guy needs to be charged to make an example out of him. This guy said something like they have tried. They cannot only go after Elon Musk through this, through that. They should now go out with weapons. I was shocked when I heard that because this is someone that is a representative. I believe there should be a good example to the public. If they are spewing this out, it is out of control. If care is not taken or actions are not put forward to stop this, it will escalate to something we don't know.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is. And I think that he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee.
This is shocking. This is shocking. If Republicans don't take actions against this, I don't know. This is bad. If you're doing this as a representative, then tell me, if mere citizens are putting this out against you, how will you even feel? Because this is different. I don't want to reason it normally. This is something serious.
These cuts are going to have majority support, and so far the polling shows they have majority support. Elon's struggling somewhat in his approval ratings, depending on who you ask, which pollster you ask, but people like DOGE, and they like cuts, and they're not on the side of the federal bureaucrats, and they love Trump. I mean, his numbers are great. I mean, Elon's the forward-facing, sort of picture of all this. So he's a controversial guy, just because of X and so on. So liberals don't like him.
Because I know that Democrats are being super critical because at the end of the day, Elon Musk is a billionaire. At the same time, though, when you compare what appears to be quite a bit of transparency in this new Trump administration versus the lack of transparency we received during the Biden administration, well, I mean, optically speaking, I think most Americans are going to have this sense that, you know, Trump is telling the truth. He wants to be honest with us. He's calling it like it is. You know, he's constantly in the media, constantly doing press conferences. And so I think that is an important thing for the Democratic Party to maybe soak in and read.
The Biden administration treated the press as poorly as any president has ever treated them, gave them less access, answered no questions, no transparency at any given time. Donald Trump's answered more questions in 3 weeks than Joe Biden answered in 4 years.
Scott, you have been sounding the alarm about what Musk is up to, but you also call, it's one of my favorite terms that you use, you say that we are following weapons of mass distraction. Elaborate.
Well, and corporations do this. Let's not talk about self-harming our teen girls. Let's talk about gender balance in the workplace. This is the ultimate strategy. The gulf of distraction is how I would call most of this stuff. There are three things that Musk wants here. One, money, two, money, and three, money.
There were pens you read. Now, I really wanted to see people disagreeing with this lady.
How do you feel like it's been going doing the show through the Trump era?
I think it has been terrible and fun. I think I get a lot of enjoyment.
House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced that the Associated Press has been banned from the Oval Office.
As press secretary, and nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given.
Are Black Africans. Yet only 4% of those Black Africans own the land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you guys for always been sharing on my videos. I don't want to make it long. If you see clips behind here, this is for the algorithm. Someone asked me, is it helping your channel? Yes, it is helping the channel. If it was not helping, I would not put.
Mind-boggling that he would be shutting down PEPFAR.
A bully and a thug who's the president of the United States, U.S., it's everywhere.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits. A chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government in the White House. We're seeing right now with this whole USAID thing, where they're uncovering massive amounts of corruption.
And also, I got to say, don't you agree? I totally agree.
Essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
To her.
No, the EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And
awful things have happened so and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag
are quality and policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need.
He's been trained his whole life to do. What do we do?
Right now you're looking straight. Remember it.
As a country about January.
Yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
Jim Jordan.
Josh Green, the governor.
Watch the news or talk.
Now look, I have a lot of.
The Democratic Party has about everything.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today,
the biggest loser on Team Chiefs, literally right next to us was Taylor Swift. And then to the left was Donald Trump. Those are boos.
Well, the Super Bowl is officially under the Biden administration.